Okay, welcome back to the program. Let's continue this conversation. Very interesting one about Dangote Cement Pan-African footprint, and the CEO is here with us. Onne is the Chief Executive Officer. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time. Let's keep this on. You're looking at 55 million metric tons per annum by the end of 2018. That's quite ambitious.
Yep, but it doesn't stop there. We already have plans to go to 72, and we're looking at a big number after that. So we certainly have ambition, and there is a big business opportunity in Sub-Saharan Africa why we do it. And that's why I was discussing about what is our business model. We see a lot of opportunity still because there's a lot of imports, there's a lot of inefficient, old, not quality performing capacity. So we see that is a good opportunity. Then there are underserved markets because of logistics constraints, and that's why we have always had and again reinforced that we have the capacity to deliver cement wherever in Africa, and that is a big competitive plus for us. And of course we are investing in cement terms in probably the most attractive market on the planet remaining. Most of the growth in Africa still has to be had. So as long as we can find these four elements, we like to invest.
What's the strategy behind this overview of your operations? You setting up plans around certain part of Africa. Look at East Africa, for example. You put in something there in Ethiopia. You're targeting that region. Then you look at Southern Africa. You're in Zambia. You're planning South Africa. Then you look at Central Africa. You in Cameroon already. You're looking at Tanzania. So you're blocking that Central Africa, East Africa with this kind of strategy, and you're doing a little bit less in the western part of the continent. Why is that so?
In the west of the continent, to start with your question, there's not so much limestone available. So between Cameroon and Senegal, there's only limestone of a good quality and quantity available in either Nigeria or in Senegal. So you see, for our West African strategy, that's exactly where we do build plants, with Itori coming new in Nigeria and a second line in Senegal. So what we do for West Africa is having either grinding facilities or import facilities. So that's the logic why it looks like maybe to you that we skip West Africa. That's not true. We certainly are interested in that market.
For the rest of Africa, why are you concentrating in Central and Eastern Africa?
Like I said, where we are interested in is, if you look at Central and West Africa, we're looking at where are the big cities. Like in Ethiopia, we are close to Addis Ababa. That we know that the major cities are big demand centers. So if we can get limestone in a good position, that's where we go. Then we look at what is the future growth potential still to be had in the country. With Ethiopia, for example, is in number of population the number 2 country in Southern Saharan African market. So we like it from that perspective. So there's a lot of growth and there's a lot of people to be had. And then we have seen that our business model works in Ethiopia. And to maybe, to be honest, to a bigger effect than we even initially thought. So we can replace existing capacities, which are nameplate capacities, but we cannot really deliver. So once we build a new factory and we make our quality cement, there's a big demand. And to our surprise, we are basically more or less sold out in Ethiopia already.
In terms of competition, for example, in Zambia, you're coming in there and you're pitching your tent right in the middle of Zambezi cement and Lafarge on the other hand. Talk to us about competition you're facing as you move from one country to the other.
Well, I think Africa actually has been, in the cement market, if I make a general statement, there has been an underinvestment for maybe 50 years in the cement industry in Africa. I think a lot of the existing players have run their old capacity over and over again and have not invested in modern technologies. So if we come into a country, we have modern facilities, good quality cement, we can compete on quality and don't have to compete on price, because we deliver a superior product with new facilities.
Where do you find the money to do this massive investment? You're looking at more than $4.7 billion for 2012-2016 period.
Yeah. We need a lot of foreign currency to do this, and that is the good thing that we have started. Again, that was one of the major elements of our business model, so to say. First of all, in Nigeria and in other countries, we are replacing imports and we domestically produce. So we save a lot of foreign currency on doing that. The next phase is that we are exporting from Nigeria to other countries, so we again gain currency there. We have made the investment already in the other countries. That means that we have now a reputation in countries like Senegal, Cameroon, Ethiopia. So we have a reputation and we can access banking lines already there. And we have a balance sheet now outside of Nigeria, which we can use. So you see, we get now a lot of benefits of the work that has been put in over the last couple of years. And then I think a very important element at the moment is that we have, why are we doing such a massive expansion? That brings us, gives us a lot of advantages. Because we have scale, we can negotiate a very good package deal. We are working with Sinoma for a long time. We know them. For us, they are very good partners to work with, so we get a good deal. Number two is that because China and the steel prices are not doing so well, so for us the momentum to do a package deal where China and steel prices are a little bit down, so it's from a momentum point of view very good. And thirdly, to your question about how do you finance this, we have a very attractive arrangement with our suppliers, how we should pay for it. So we can actually use the future running of our operations to a large degree to finance for it.
But you still have debt?
We still are relatively conservatively geared. We have about a debt-to-equity ratio of about 50. If you look at international cement companies, they have a 60 to 80 or 100%. So in that sense, we are relatively conservatively financed. On the one hand, that is good to have, because if you do a lot of new projects, it is better to have a little bit of a conservative gearing, because you do a lot of development projects.
So for 2014, you're looking at earnings before interest at about $1.2 billion. What's the outlook for 2015?
We don't give a specific guidance for the EBITDA or for the earnings, so I'm a little bit cautious to that, not to do that here today as well. But we have now, and that is for us very good, we have now good visibility on how our operations outside Africa are doing. In July, we were selling 42% of the volume outside Nigeria. So that is massive. That is from a company which was predominantly Nigerian last year. This year we are 40% outside Nigeria. It means also that our earnings growth is now also no longer depending on Nigeria only. We have this foreign operations as an engine for growth. And we were discussing just before, we actually have reduced our prices in Nigeria substantially. So we thought this is the right moment to pass on these cost efficiencies we have achieved, our fuel flexibility, our larger volumes. So on the one hand, we have a big upside for the non-Nigerian operations, whereas probably Nigeria will not deliver so much profit. And I think this is one of the big advantages we now have as a group, that we are Pan-African. We are no longer depending on what you were calling the golden goose so much anymore. We can now also look at the daughters and subsidiaries abroad and say, now you have to do your part as well.